Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. The Home Depot Foundation, a philanthropic organization, has demonstrated an exceptional commitment to addressing the critical skilled labor gap in the construction industry. The foundation recently announced a significant investment of over $6 million in skilled trades training and the launch of strategic partnerships to support the nearly 400,000 job openings within the construction sector. Later in the show, we're going to talk with a representative from the Home Depot Foundation and a representative from the 100 Black Men of the Bay Area to discuss their role in that big announcement. Lots of news this morning, and we can really start it. I was telling Greer beforehand with Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On," the timeless piece. There's just what he say, "Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying, brother, brother. There's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today." And then to show you how profound, he says, picket lines. How many picket lines and picket signs are out there currently? Uh, Mack truck workers just went on strike. The auto workers are on strike. Hollywood just came off strike. He says, don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. How timeless. All those guys back then, not just the Motown artists, but artists from Capitol Records and others, they were just so ahead of their time. And that should be the anthem today. What's going on? And we start this morning. We have several topics this morning. Uncle Red, Hughes Van Ness, the one of the last survivors of the Tulsa race massacre, died last night at the age of 102. We'll talk about that this morning. And RFK Jr. is switching parties in his presidential bid, and it's really interesting to hear what his family had to say. Tell you what, if it's up to his family, he doesn't have a shot of winning the presidential election. Also, this morning, it's Mental Health Day coming up, Mental Health Week, Mental Health Month. Well, Spark, the largest study of autism families across the United States, hopes a new video campaign helps the research initiative capture the attention of more Black and African American individuals and families. We'll talk about that this morning as well. And Walmart is investing in Black businesses. Yeah, Walmart. We're going to talk about that as well. But first, the sad news. Hughes, Uncle Red Van Ellis, one of the last three known survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, has died, according to a family statement. He was 102. He died last night in Denver, Colorado, according to Oklahoma State Rep Regina Goodwin, who was speaking on behalf of the family. They said he died, quote, waiting on justice. Ellis was just a few months old when he and his older sister, Viola Fletcher, fled Tulsa's Greenwood district with their family as a violent white mob tore through the thriving Black community, ultimately killing hundreds of residents and reducing rows of homes and business to ash. Fletcher, of course, is affectionately known as Mother Fletcher. She and her brother received honorary citizenship in Ghana in 2021. Earlier this year, we attended a ceremony for them at the embassy there in Washington, D.C., a very lavish ceremony. It was really, really great to see them and be able to capture their moments in person. But like a myriad of other Black families, Ellis and his loved ones were forced to leave. You remember that this story we'll always remember, right? The Tulsa Race Massacre. The Diaspora African Forum issued a statement noting that they deeply mourn Van Ellis's passing. They said Uncle Red epitomized unwavering resilience and the vital significance of historical memory, even at age 102. His journey, they noted, came to a close last night at 11:30 p.m. He was in a Denver hospice in Colorado. Her Eminence Erica Bennett, Dr. Erica Bennett, the founder and head of mission for the Diaspora African Forum, and Dr. Tony Luck organized the first historical visit of Uncle Red and Mother Fletcher to Ghana in 2021. As we stated, Dr. Bennett said Van Ellis's existence, quote, illuminated the indomitable nature of the human spirit amidst overwhelming odds. She said granting him honorary citizenship in Ghana was a gesture of profound respect for his enduring legacy. Hughes Van Ness, Uncle Red, as Power 96 writes, was a World War II veteran. He served in an all-Black unit in the Army in the China-Burma India Theater. Power 96 says, may he rest in power. And David Youngblood, speaking of the Tulsa Race Massacre, David says, it's the only time the U.S. government bombed a U.S. city. Yeah. It's really something. It's what an accomplishment, first and foremost, to live to 102 years old. His sister's slightly older, right? And she, she seems to be strong. It doesn't communicate too much, but apparently when she needs to, she does. So there he is. They call him Uncle Red, and the resolve on his face you could see in that photo there. I'm sure was always there throughout his life, and it was really great of the African Forum, the Diaspora African Forum, to take them to Ghana. They had mentioned Mother Fletcher and Uncle Red had mentioned that they had a lifelong dream to go to Ghana to have that citizenship bestowed upon them. It was so great of Dr. Bennett, Dr. Erica Bennett, to make sure, be among those who made sure that that happened for them in 2021. And as we said, the lavish ceremony at the embassy earlier this year. They seem to really enjoy it. Lots of folks were there to really show them their appreciation and show them so much love. It was really quite a scene there in Washington. And we, like I said, we were there and we got the chance to capture it. So we remember Hughes Van Ness, Uncle Red. Mike V points out that Uncle Red outlived all of his adversaries. Isn't that the best revenge? Absolutely. Well, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. officially threw his hat into the ring for the 2024 U.S. presidential race by switching affiliations from Democrat to Independent. He says, I'm here to declare myself an independent candidate for president of the United States. He, he thanked his wife and children, perhaps the only family members that are supporting him right now. The 69-year-old who initially challenged Joe Biden for the Democratic presidential nomination is now the independent candidate for president. He had recently teased that there was going to be this big announcement from his campaign. And that big announcement was that he was switching parties. And it's interesting because earlier this year, he was seemingly gaining some momentum. He was up to about 20% of the vote, which was a very, very high percentage against a sitting president in your own party. The scion of the illustrious Kennedy political dynasty had faced questions, and he still faces questions and criticism for his unfounded conspiracy theories linking COVID-19 to anti Semitic sentiments, posting that the virus was engineered to favor specific demographics, notably Chinese and a certain faction of Jews. During an exclusive interview with us, earlier this year, Kennedy emphasized his steadfast, what he calls his steadfast dedication to combating environmental inequities, dismantling qualified immunity for law enforcement, and rectifying the stark racial disparities ingrained within the American healthcare system. He is interesting. It's really interesting that he, in some ways, sounds like his uncle, John F., and his dad, Robert F. But then in the other part of him, he sounds so radical. But his family, well, before we get to that, this is what he told us earlier this year. He says, empowering Black Americans will be a central focus for me, especially in eradicating the pervasive fear of perilous encounters with law enforcement. Now, everybody knows that's a hot button issue. That's an issue that's going to get our attention. He asserted that he was going to end qualified immunity, which safeguards police from personal liability in the event of legal action. He said incentives for reform are lacking under the current system. We must eliminate qualified immunity, compelling individuals to weigh their accountability in every interaction. A robust economic system should incentivize virtuous conduct and penalize transgressions. He says that's what we need. He emphasized that time and time again. He even talked about the medical system, the hospital systems needing systemic changes. That was his words. But his family, his siblings stood up yesterday and slammed them. And a statement passed along by our own Austin Cooper, the family, Rory Kennedy, Carrie Kennedy, Joseph Kennedy II, and Kathleen Kennedy Townsend said the decision, quote, of our brother Bobby to run as a third party candidate against Joe Biden is dangerous to our country. They then further blasted him, saying Bobby might share the same name as our father, but he does not share the same values, vision, or judgment. Finally, Kennedy's announcement of running as an independent, they said, is deeply saddening for them. They concluded by saying, we denounce his candidacy and believe it to be perilous for our country. Wow. Any candidate running against him will be using that as a commercial. Austin writes in, there's Austin. He writes in, RFK Jr. is not even qualified to be spokesperson for Mental Health Awareness Month, much less POTUS. And Southbound 3000 points out something that many agree with. He says, America will never be right till till it does right by Black folk. Real interesting there, Southbound 3000. But there you see that statement from Kennedy's siblings. That is something else to have your siblings publicly denounce you in such a way, and really, as they say, Bobby might share the same name as our father, but he does not share the same values, vision, or judgment. That is really, really interesting that the family would come out like that. But look, they've been in the political sphere all their lives. They've been they know all about their own history, and there are people who really want to protect their own, understandably so. They want to protect their legacy, and in this case, perhaps they're protecting the legacy of Robert F. Kennedy, who would have been president had he not met an assassin's bullet back in 1968. Um, of course, Bobby Kennedy Sr. was also the U.S. Attorney General before Giuliani in New York took on, quote unquote, took on the mob. That's what Bobby Sr. did. And of course, we know this lifelong fascination and love affair of John F. Kennedy that America has. America is in love, folks, with royalty, we know. And so they have made the Kennedys America's royalty. And this whole Camelot. David Youngblood says RFK Jr.'s run is about him, not anyone else, especially Black folks. Doesn't take much to see through some things, I guess, is what David is saying here. You could talk a good game, but we'll see. We will see. It remains to be seen because the presidential election is upon us, right? We are just about a year out from the election, from election day, a year and a few weeks away. Polls have been bombarding everyone. Information, misinformation, and disinformation alike has been all over social media and on mainstream platforms. So there are some in the Democratic Party who don't want Biden running. There are some in the Republican Party, despite Trump being their front runner, they don't want him running. At the same time, many don't want DeSantis running. Nobody's happy with anybody. But we will see. Obviously, what comes of all of this, but again, a very, very damning statement from the Kennedy family against Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s announcement yesterday that he is switching to uh, running as an independent. They never supported him in his bid as a Democrat either, but now they have really come out swinging with a statement like that. There's no turning that one back, no taking it back. I wonder if he ever gets invited to family dinner. Well, turning our attention now to a serious issue, autism. Spark, the largest study of autism families across the United States, hopes that a new video campaign will help the research initiative capture the attention of more African American individuals and families. Spark contends that autism research is more powerful when children and families from various racial and ethnic groups are fully represented. And that you can stop right there because that is so true with so many other things. We talk about the health disparities, all of these clinical trials that rarely have Black representation. So that only serves to really give folks pause when we have new vaccines, when we have uh, different medicines that could do this or possibly do that. When you don't have full representation, this is what happens. And so Spark wants to do something about it when it comes to autism. Since launching nationally in April 2016, Spark has enrolled more than 120,000 individuals with autism spectrum disorder, 80% autistic children, and 20% autistic adults. So far, more than 15,000 African American or Black autistic individuals and families, which is roughly 12.5%, participate in Spark. In a statement, they said, we have a good number of African Americans and Black autistic individuals and families involved in Spark, but we really want to capture as many people as possible to get that richness and diversity we need to fully have the chance to uncover the secrets to a condition that has implications for a lot of people. They go on to say that we hope that hearing some of the personal stories of our participants will inspire others to join our efforts so we can move toward equal representation and provide everyone with an equal chance to have a happy, healthy, and productive life. In the first of two videos, single father Rico Winston shared his story of how his son Israel was diagnosed with autism at 2 years old. Through his own research, he found his way to Spark. And now he and Spark say they are committed to improving Israel's life. He provides 5 tips on how a dad can help his child with autism. You can watch his video, go to the Spark website. and see that moving testimonial. The second video highlights Darnell Newsom, who is the mother of two adults with ASD and one of the parents of autistic children and autistic adults among the Spark staff. So, um, Darnell has joined the Spark staff, really gotten involved and trying to get others involved as well. We know, again, that when it comes to things like autism or any type of mental health issue, it's still one of those things that we find difficult to talk about, difficult to seek professional help. But here, Spark is saying we need more African Americans, more black black folks to participate, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that they do participate so they can be represented. It's the only way to really attack things is to find it, to hit it head on, but to really make sure that it applies to us. I mean, they could do studies all day long on white Americans or Asian Americans or others, but if we're not included, then there's a lot we're not going to know, whether it works for us or not. So look at the Spark website. And Walmart. How about Walmart? Walmart has decided that it will invest in Black businesses. According to a new report, the retail giant said that it would be donating $800,000 to the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs, an Atlanta based nonprofit organization that's devoted to creating, nurturing, and expanding Black entrepreneurs to support initiatives to train entrepreneurs who make consumer goods. In a statement, they said, Walmart officials said, we're going to be the place that when you see rice on the head of any application that comes in, it's RICE is the acronym. Walmart will know that they have to give it a good look, said Rice President and CEO Jay Bailey, because we're going to prepare these entrepreneurs to win, to be shelf ready, to be retail ready. Walmart's 1-year grant to Rice is part of the company's 2020 pledge to invest $100 million in racial equity over 5 years. The news follows another significant corporate contribution to Rice from PayPal, which gave $1 million in August to establish a retail academy that would provide MBA level retail training. Part of the Walmart donation will go toward launching the PayPal Retail Academy. It will also supplement the initial phase of Rice's entrepreneurship curriculum. It will open in January 2024. And initially, they said they're going to train up to 50 entrepreneurs on non-traditional retail methods, global marketing techniques, and overcoming supply chain challenges, which totally exist. Here's the thing, though. So we talked about what Walmart, they're specifically for African American businesses, African Americans, right? Well, there is a lawsuit currently out of Atlanta. That's the Fearless Fund that's being challenged, and an appellate judge struck down a lower court's ruling in favor of the Fearless Fund, saying that wait, the same people who bought Edward Blum, the same people who bought the affirmative action case to the Supreme Court, brought it against the Fearless Fund, saying that they're discriminating. They're only picking Black female small businesses. They said that's discrimination. So I wonder how Walmart and others will get around this. The other danger, and as they say, this is spitballing, right? Because when you think about it, the other danger is to fall into the trap of companies saying, yes, I'm going to give all of this money to Black businesses or Black owned businesses, knowing that a court will say, hold up, wait a minute, you can't do that. Will they do that just to say, hey, look, I tried, knowing it's going to fail. I'm not saying that's what Walmart is doing. I'm just as I said, spitballing, just wondering if that's going to be a situation where we see more of. Because remember, now Walmart is carrying out its pledge from 2020, continue to carry out its pledge from 2020 when everybody, all these businesses, Fortune 500 companies and big businesses made pledges to African Americans after George Floyd was murdered. And many of them just walked away from those pledges. And now it seems like with the Supreme Court's ruling and the situation down with the Fearless Fund and what's happening there, it kind of opens the door for some nefarious things to go on. Folks that say, I am pledging $1 billion to Black businesses, and they get the applause, they get the press, and knowing that Edward Blum and conservatives are going to say, oh, wait a minute, we're taking this to court. You're not going to give them 1 cent. David says a private company has the right to invest in businesses they want to invest in. On the surface, David, you know as well as I know, on the surface, that is very much true. However, do you really trust that they're not coming for this as well? They're coming for everything. Everything that's Black, everything that's African American, everything that's Latino. They're coming for it. And after they accomplish all that stop Asian hate, that's going away. They're coming for everybody who is not them. I often mostly agree with David, and I hear what he's saying, but David, keep your eye on the prize. As I forget the name of the character, but said that every time you get in the red zone, they move the goalpost back 50 yards or so. And that's been happening time and time and time again. As I said at the top, what's going on? Marvin Gaye's song is so timeless. We're at the top of the hour, so now to our guests from the Home Depot Foundation, which is a philanthropic organization that has demonstrated an exceptional commitment to addressing the critical skilled labor gap in the construction industry and the 100 Black men of the Bay Area. Check out what our guests had to say about that. Good. And Heather, we'll start with you. Can you provide a little bit more details about the new entrepreneurship program in partnership with Bunker Labs? How will it benefit U.S. military veterans and military spouses looking to establish their businesses in the skilled trades industry?
Yes, happy to talk about that program. It's one of the things we're really excited about. We started our work in the skilled trades in 2018 with a $50 million commitment to train the next generation of skilled tradespeople. And part of that, we're working with Home Builders Institute, or HBI. And part of that was to put these training facilities onto 10 military bases. So we're training service members as they're coming out of the military, training them in the skilled trades. And this is wonderful, right? Because for so many of them, this will be their first career coming out of the military. This will be their first civilian career. So we wanted to make sure they had that certification. But then the question became, well, what's next? So we've trained them, but how do we create the next generation of business owners and entrepreneurs in the skilled trade space? So for veterans specifically. So we're going to be working with Bunker Labs, and they're creating a program for any veteran who wants to begin a small business or a business in the skilled trade space. We will put them through that program, and that is a 2-year commitment that we have with Bunker Labs.
And so we're going to kind of switch up a little bit too and come back and forth because Home Depot Foundation is obviously doing a lot here. Keith, can you provide an overview of the strategic partnership between the Home Depot Foundation, Home Builders Institute, and 100 Black Men of America? What motivated these organizations to come together for this initiative?
Well, great. Thanks for the question, Stacy. I guess I could sum it up in this way: we all saw a need in this particular space. There was a need in that there was a lot of unfilled jobs. in the industry that needed workers. Uh, Clearly, there was a need for more people of color to be in these particular fields. And at the 100 Black Men, our mission is to support and our youth and trying to drive positive change in the community. And so, with those three forces that kind of came together, we decided to do a partnership and do a pilot program in three cities, across the country in the San Francisco Bay Area, Atlanta, and Philadelphia, to see how we could hone a program that would train up our youth in these trade fields and give them an opportunity to have a very successful um, working career and support their lifestyles. So that's kind of how it all happened and got together that way.
Sounds like it just
it
all came together the
all
way
came
you
together.
guys wanted it to. I want to go back to Heather. The virtual nature of the entrepreneurship program seems remarkable, Heather. How do you anticipate this accessibility will impact aspiring entrepreneurs and their participation and success, especially those in remote or underserved areas?
Honestly, we want to make sure that, again, we're creating opportunities for people to become entrepreneurs in this space. I think the virtual piece of it is going to make it accessible to anyone and everyone. So again, with this grant and with this partnership, we're focusing solely on veterans, because that has been first and foremost what we've focused on as a foundation, is housing for veterans, disaster response, and skilled trades also. But yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things, is no matter where you are in the country, if you are a veteran and you want to become a skilled trades business owner, this is going to be an opportunity to get you to where you want to be. So we're excited about that. And then we're also really excited about this partnership with 100 Black Men of America, because I mean, it's just, as Keith said, that when we got into this space, one of the things that we noticed really early on was the lack of diversity in this space. And so we really looked at, how do we diversify the trades industry? So we're working on that with the veteran side, but then also with 100 Black Men of America. This has just been an amazing opportunity for us to work with such an incredible organization and leadership. So wanted to say thank you to Keith and everyone else working on this.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Heather.
And Keith, along with that, how will the program be integrated into 100 Black Men of America's existing after-school programs? Can you explain the structure and logistics of how these programs will be delivered to the young people?
Yeah, so I'm happy to. We're in our second year, so we did a pilot, and so we're still working through how to scale everything out. But in a short, we sort of have an after school program where it's really an introductory to the kids, um, to the trades fields, and through that process, they get a lot of hands-on work with very skilled professionals, and they also get certifications in the trades, that then they have some certifications, so they could actually then take those certifications and look for other work and start their careers in the trades, and or can seek additional education. So it's really a preparatory thing, and we've kind of integrated it into our after school program specifically around that. So it's been working out pretty well so far.
And that's awesome. We know that there's a lot of young ones who don't have anything to do after school, and in a lot of cases, that includes even homework. So
It's
this
true.
is this is pretty awesome. Heather, can you share some more about the collaboration with the Home Builders Institute and how it will amplify the reach and impact of the Path to Pro? And perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about Path to Pro, the high school and military programs that you have.
Sure, sure. So Home Builders Institute, or HBI, has been our national partner in this space since 2018. And it's really been incredible, Stacy, because we started on the military bases. We wanted to make sure we were staying true to our mission of serving veterans. And then we moved into the high school. So really creating shop class, if you will, bringing that back to high schools. And then we started working with academies, which are standalone organizations in 6 different cities, where we're able to train individuals in cities like Denver and New Orleans and Orlando, and really put them to work make sure they're going into the skilled trades work right after they graduate the program. With 100 Black Men of America, when HBI came to us, it was really interesting for Keith. I'm sure you would agree, for both of us, right? Because
Mhm.
100 had been focused for so long on higher education, and we looked at how do we create plan A for everyone? So plan A isn't necessarily going to be going to a 4-year institution or a higher ed. So how do we create these opportunities for young people who want to go into the skilled trades? And I mean, it's, as Keith said, it's such a great career opportunity for people. So definitely many thanks to HBI for bringing us together, having the conversation on both sides, and creating this match. We've been able to more than double the program in the last couple of years, and looking for the future of how we can continue to make it grow.
Yeah, I think it's important what you just said too, because oftentimes we think a lot, and understandably so, about higher education, but they have to get there first. And so, with that in mind, for both of you, Heather, Keith, um, could you talk a little bit about the resources and support that will be provided to, say, 11th and 12th grade students, particularly in Title I schools?
So that's a good question. And so we've designed this program and we're implementing it really around this notion of the support that you talked about. So particularly uh, we've kind of got a mentoring component built into the program where we try to capture and bring in talent to speak to the kids that are professional in the trades, people that look like them, people that have experience, so that we can provide those kind of mentor opportunities, real life examples, um, into the high schoolers. It's really exploratory. One of the things that I firmly believe in is exposure. When kids have an opportunity to be exposed to different things and see what different things are out there, they can become inspired to something that they may not have ever known before. And once the kids are inspired to do it, it becomes like a fire. So this past year we had one kid. He came into our after school program. He really fell in love with the trades and working with his hands. He then finished that program. He went on to a more lengthy training program. Uh, and he's now graduated from that program, and he's pursuing career in the electrical field. So he's trying to become an electrical apprentice, and he's off and running, and he's thrilled to be doing it. So when you see that, it just makes you feel good.
Yeah, and Keith, you and I could have exchanged seats on that, because you went into really answered another question, my next question, and I'm going to let Heather do it this time, because you just took over as the interviewer when you responded there. But I was going to ask you to highlight, because this program, Heather, I understand that the inception was in 2018. And I was going to ask you to perhaps highlight some of the program's significant achievements or success stories.
I mean, Keith just gave us a
I
great
know.
example. I think, one of the greatest things about this has been able, for us in the beginning of this partnership to sit, it was during COVID, so we weren't sitting around a table, but we were sitting around a virtual table, if you will, and really saying how can we create these opportunities for our youth, and so being able to program to look like, and then see it come to fruition and hear the stories that Keith is telling is just really incredible. And we have so many stories like that, which is wonderful. From our military side, what's been really interesting to watch is servicemen and women who have gone through their entire military career in a completely different field, if you will. I remember talking to somebody from HR and asking him if his brain hurt when he comes to our class, because he's going from 20 something years of HR to learning construction math and using his brain in a completely different way. But he wanted to do something completely different when he left the military, and he went into the skilled trades. And we've got multiple stories like that. There was a gentleman who he was scared to death when he was leaving the military, because he had a daughter with a heart condition, and he was trying to figure out what kind of job he was going to have to support his family, something that had health care. Really, what did that look like after leaving the military, where you're told what to do every day, your bills, everything's taken care of. And he came into our program and found a job with Habitat for Humanity, another one of our national nonprofit partners, but took a job with Habitat. He got his carpentry license, his general contracting license, and has left that role and has started a business for himself. We're trying to get him into our Bunker Labs program, actually. But I mean, it's just incredible to see how people can take the skilled trades and make such a great career path out of it, and how it really changes lives.
Yeah, absolutely. What a job, again, the Home Depot Foundation is doing. Keith, can you, um, well, are there plans? Let me ask you this. Are there plans to expand the program to other cities or regions in the future? And if so, what criteria will be used in selecting new locations?
The short answer is yes, there are plans to expand. This coming year, we're not going to expand, planning to add a cities, but we're looking at in the future. And I think one of the key criteria is as we look at, we need really, two major ingredients to be successful. Is we need to have the appropriate uh, team on the ground there. So we'll work with other 100 Black Men chapters to ensure that they're ready for this kind of success, and they have the infrastructure that they need to go recruit and also train the students. In that, and then the financial resources are what's also needed to make that expansion. So we're looking forward to expanding and trying to figure out how we scale this, and work this with the HBI and the Home Depot
We'll help you
Foundation.
out with the financial resources. How's that?
That works well.
Well, there you have it.
There
And
we go.
Keith, you gave us an experience a little bit ago of one student, but what's the initial reaction? I mean, when the students are first approached, when you start these programs, uh, are they skeptical at all? I mean, what are some of the challenges you have in even getting this message across that this is available to you?
Uh, so the biggest challenge we have is actually getting them in the door.
Mhm.
Because of that skepticism that they have, it's sort of oh, I don't want to do that, oh, it's not for me, oh, you know they have they don't know anything, so that part of it is difficult in kind of getting them in it. Well, once they get in the door and then they actually see, and do things with the trades, because this is really not just an academic learning session, but it's a hands-on, as well. So they get to work, they get to see, they get to talk to people in there. They then all of a sudden they open up and become very welcoming to the opportunities and it's that are there. But I would say getting them in the door is probably the hardest part.
And what about the parents? How convincing do you have to be with the parents?
Um, Usually the parents are pretty supportive,
Okay, good.
in that process, because they see the opportunity much more clear than the students do. So their things, and then some of the challenges though once is transportation to and from the program. So we have to help the kids with that sometimes, depending on how that happens. So coordinating those logistics and
Mhm.
working with the parents to make sure that happens. So those are some of the things that we just kind of try to work through as we go through and make it happen.
Yeah, and Heather, beyond the impressive, very impressive philanthropic efforts, how is the Home Depot Foundation actively working to engage with communities and promote sustainable change within the industry?
We're as a foundation, we want to make sure we're putting our money where our mouth is, right? And
Mhm.
so we're obviously funding people, but we're out there with Team Depot volunteering as well. We're always looking. Team Depot is our associate led volunteer force, so making sure that we're doing that, but then also really just making sure, as Keith said, that people are aware of this. We want to make sure parents are aware, guidance counselors are aware that this is a great career opportunity for people. So really helping HBI and our N100 Black Men and our other partners get the news out about this. And one of the really cool things that we did is we're trying to figure out how to keep people engaged and excited. So we were able to do a grant last year to Habitat for Humanity International, where we funded one brand new house for each of our military base programs, trades programs. So now we have service members on each of our 10 military bases. They're building a home for a lower income family in each of those communities through Habitat for Humanity. So it's giving them hands-on opportunity to build, helping them understand what it's really going to look like on a job site, but it's giving them the opportunity to give back as well and to be a part of their community. And it's been such a great partnership between HBI and Habitat, where we know we're going to continue to see volunteerism throughout. So really making sure that we put heart along with the work that's happening, so people can understand what going into the skilled trades truly means, like how you can help people through this.
And Heather, a lot of foundations and nonprofits, they go set about accomplishing certain goals. What is the feeling like among you and your colleagues when you see the program go through? That it really, you see the change, you see the effect. What's that feeling like?
I mean, it's incredible to hear stories that Keith and their team come back with, telling us about the youth that are successful and going into the skilled trades, knowing that us sitting around a table, like I said, dreaming this up, and then Keith and team doing the hard work of making it come to life, knowing that we've played a role in making that happen. It's really incredible. And at the Home Depot, we love to give back and we love to do the right thing. And so this definitely helps us meet our culture values in that way, which is incredible.
Yeah, Keith, is there room for collaboration or involvement from other organizations or stakeholders who are interested in supporting this initiative?
Always room for others who want to help. We have one of the things that an offshoot that we're working on in the Bay Area is getting the NAMAC, the local chapter of the minority contractors, involved to work with our kids in the program and provide real mentorship to them in the field, so that they can just continue to grow. So we have lots of room for helps here.
Yeah, Heather, I'm going to throw it back to you. Are there any future initiatives or goals you'd like to share with us today?
So we launched the Path to Pro in 2018 with a $50 million commitment that will go through 2028. So Bunker Labs is our newest. Obviously we want to continue to grow with 100 Black Men of America. So we'll be looking at that. Keith mentioned next year, how do we grow the programs? And then we've got a scholarship program as well that any of our students are eligible for. And we do that through Skill Point Foundation and also Folds of Honor, which is a newer partner to us too.
Sounds awesome, Keith. Is there a timeline for you to meet certain goals with this program, launching this program? And how can folks get involved?
So lots of questions in that question.
I know.
But I guess I'll sum it up like this. We definitely have goals. We are want to continue to expand and grow this program at scale. We're really excited about it. We're getting the local communities excited about it, so we're garnering a lot of support. And when people hear some of the results that we're having, they definitely want to get involved and help out. And so we're always looking for some new ways to add and enrich these students in ways that are going to help them long term. So there's definitely room for anybody who wants to help and participate.
Yeah, and Heather, finally, for individuals interested in accessing skilled trade resources, please provide some information on how to learn more or get involved.
Sure. If you go to the homedepotfoundation.org, all of our information is there. You can also look at hbi.org, our national partner, and that will give more information around our partnerships with them, including 100 Black Men of America.
Yeah, and Keith, real quick, is there a website or anything that you want to send people to?
You can definitely go to the 100 Black Men of America .org, and that's our headquarters organization, and then our local chapter is the 100 blackmenba.org for our location in the Bay Area.
Well, congratulations to both the Home Depot Foundation and the 100 Black Men for such great work that you are doing. Keith Roberson, Program Manager for the HBI 100 Black Men effort of the Bay Area, and Heather Prill, the Senior Philanthropist for the Home Depot Foundation. Thanks for joining the Black Presses Let It Be Known. Yeah, so some great information there from the Home Depot and 100 Black Men partnering. We really had the pleasure of talking with them about this program. Take advantage of it. Go on and find out more information, and certainly find out more information about the 100 Black Men there. Keith was representing the 100 Black Men of the Bay Area, but there are 100 Black men organizations throughout. Power 96 says, I learned something today. That is always an aim of the program, is to give you a little something anyway, Power 96. But certainly the Home Depot Foundation and the 100 Black men, check out what they are doing and see where perhaps you can either help or even benefit. Check out, you heard the information, so put it to great use. And thanks so much for joining. Let It Be Known, and continue to support our YouTube page. The Let It Be Known YouTube page is where a lot of excitement happens. Facebook too. Let It Be Known has its own Facebook page as well. So subscribe if you haven't. Of course, it doesn't cost you anything except for like 2 seconds. Click subscribe. And we love to see you there. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.